Good night, good night, good night, everybody. Thank you for coming here to Greatness Leaders, to leaders, and more leaders. Everything we talk about is about leadership. And everyone who comes here is a great leader that has something to give to life. So that's why we call ourselves Unstoppable Leaders. This night we have Gina Gavilanes, which is a leader I know, and she is really, really good with her people and always thinking to get the best of her team. So thank you for being here, Gina. Good night. How are you?
Hello. I'm doing really well, thank you. How are you?
Thank you very much. By the way, thank you for coming here like for the third time and this time in English.
I know it's really exciting, and if I'm honest, like I'm used to my daily job is just in English all the time. So I'm really used to communicating in English, but I'm a bit conscious today that I have to do this in English and I've had to prepare myself a little bit, so I'm really happy to be here tonight.
No, thank you very much. For me, I don't often talk in English, but I have to do an effort, but nobody grows if they don't do an effort. So
That's
doing an
correct.
effort, it's what it takes to become a great in your life. So the or what we're gonna talk today, it's about mindset and leadership. What do you wanna? Why did you want to talk about that today?
Well, I am for
Se fue el audio. The audio, the audio went. Is it back? Hello. Hola. Hello. David, ¿estás ahí?
Y aquí estoy. Creo que está muteado el audio de Gina.
Oh, es el audio de ella. Ya.
Sí,
Bueno,
parece que está teniendo un corte.
Hola.
welcome back.
I'm so sorry about that. So sorry about that. Technical problems. Something's going on with my headset. So I apologize for that.
No worries.
Um, what did we wanted to talk about leadership and mindset,
Yes.
and I was saying that I am so blessed to have a job and a career that I am passionate about, that I get to do a job that I love, and it sums up in serving others, which is one of my core life values. And basically, I've dedicated 21 years this year of my life to do international student mobility or helping universities with their internationalization plans. So this is something that I'm really passionate for, and this industry has been for me a coaster. I've been comfortable, I've been challenged, I've learned a lot, and I've learned to adapt to different changes,
Yes.
especially lately. But there, so a bit over 6 years ago, I started to work for the company as a consultant,
Yes.
and I am now the president of two of the biggest departments in the business. So I'm president to Assist University Services team and the president to Student Advice Center. So I was completely unaware of what it would be to work for an international company. I used to work in Ecuador my entire life, and yes, I traveled, but I worked locally for a university, attracting
Mhm.
students to come to Ecuador and study. But I knew pretty well my area of expertise, so I decided to step out of my comfort zone and join this adventure. But boy, I had no clue where I was getting my butt into, basically. And so, if we could go back a little bit, 6 years in time, I was already working for Study. It had a different brand name before. And I remember I was in Boston attending NAFSA. NAFSA is a huge conference on for international education around the world. And I remember I was sitting at a restaurant having lunch with my boss, and he hands me a napkin, a paper napkin,
Yes.
hands me a napkin and says, "Can you help me draw the organizational chart of an international office for a university?" And I was like, in my head, it's like piece of cake, really easy. So I start drafting and drawing how an international office looks like, and he starts asking like, all right, this role, what is the job that they will have to do, and what about this role? And I was there explaining. We were just having a really cool chat, and I'll pause there because I'll give you a disclaimer about my boss. I always say he's like a Tesla car. He goes from 0 to 100 in 1.9 seconds. So that's how visionary he is. Really quick, really fast. And I'm sat there drawing this organizational chart. And next thing I know, he goes like, "Well, congratulations, Gina. Now go and build that in Ecuador, and go and build this office that is going to serve international students from all over the world." So little did I know this napkin was going to embark challenging journeys where I have more stories than MasterCard to talk about. Um,
Yes.
and he basically asked me a couple questions, and he didn't ask much about what is it to work in Ecuador, what's the labor force, what was the salaries to pay, and so on. But he just said, "Go and open an office in Ecuador." And that was my only task. And excuse my French here, but shit. I mean, who wants to be given such a responsibility? And 6 years ago, I was at the young age of 32. So that's really cool, right? So you get a lot of responsibility. You basically go in and do a foundation of a company in Ecuador. And I was given the opportunity to have my little own business and choose my own team, and all because of a napkin. So what I say right now is because was teaching me one of the foundations of leadership, and that's just to trust your people. And wow,
Yes.
that's a lot of trust for someone to say, "Yeah, go and build the office now in Ecuador." And he was handing me a lot of responsibility. I didn't know it was going to be challenging because I had worked for the other end. I had worked for the university. Now I was to go and be working to serve not only one but hundreds or thousands of universities.
Yes.
Long story short, I had less than 4 weeks to set up an office. I went from consultant to being a director of human resources and hire the people to be the finance manager, and start seeing it's like, right, we need computers. Let's pay for the laptops. Let's pay for the phones. Find an office. I was a purchasing manager. I was an operations manager. I was also the vice president for international admissions, which was my new role in there. And all in less than 3 weeks, I was juggling a good number of hats to set up this office. And it was 2014. I still remember the date is July 5th when we started operations here in Ecuador, in Guayaquil. And we
Yes.
had a team of 3 people only to start from scratch, to help students from all over the world to find and register at the university and enroll at the university that they liked based on their educational needs. It was just a dream. And something at that time needed to happen. So Gina, at that time, I had to switch my internal chip. I was no longer an employee, I was the employer. So I
Yes.
was becoming what we know, an entrepreneur, if that's micro entrepreneur, if I say it that way. And I was definitely far from knowing that starting an office with 3 people, we will end up with a team of about 40 in less than 3 years. So that was boom. Let's build this in less than 3 years. You've got 40 people almost. We had four, and it's it's been quite a journey. So, talking about changing my internal chip, I had to change my data and operation center. So, my head, my command
Okay.
center,
Yes.
my brain had to change. I needed to operate in a different way. And this is what we know as mindset, right? So
Yes.
you start to program your mind into success. You start to program to an attitude of success. So your
Yes.
mindset is basically the attitude that you choose, right? How you choose to live your life, how to choose to face every situation, if you're optimistic or negative. Basically this would be the driving factor and your professional development. So I had to sit, change my mindset, and it's not been easy, but I do know, and I've known forever that our mind is really powerful. We were created with skills to create, to speak, to dream, to live, to solve problems. And what I usually say is that is where your superpowers are located. It's just right here. And
It starts there.
yeah,
So
and
let me ask you something.
yeah.
Uh, do you think that everybody's, I mean, everybody has the ability, but does everybody have the growth mindset? Or you have to like, do you need someone else to believe in you? Or is it only that you need to believe in yourself to make things happen?
Well, in personally, try to choose a growing mindset is your. I don't believe
Is
you
it,
need anyone
is
else
it what?
to having a
Mhm.
growing mindset. um, it's something that you choose, and it's
Okay.
not something that someone tells you, well, you need to do this. You can get feedback, yes, but it's an internal decision that you need to put in your mind, right? It's like I'm growing. It's a progressive mindset in which you decide basically that for every difficulty you will find a solution, and you're going to be positive about, and not really positive but optimistic of finding the right solution, and you see it always as an opportunity. And it's definitely not easy. I would say this because I have struggled myself sometimes to keep up a positive or being optimistic about some decisions that I have had to make through the years on my personal life or my professional life, or even being in the business. It has been a little bit difficult sometimes for some situations where I said, "Oh yeah, that's really easy," and you know what, it's gonna be um, positive outcomes, and in the end, you just go like, "Really?" Like you start to think about and you question yourself, right? So it
Your
requires a lot. It
your mindset
requires
has a lot to do with your self love, with your
yes,
self trust, and
and
mindset.
dedication as well.
Yes, I mean, yeah, from the, like from the past, because your mindset it's something like it's like fitness, right? You can't fake fitness. You can see someone and you know if he's fit or not. Your mindset is as well. Whenever you defy someone or tell him to do something bigger, you'll know his mindset.
Yeah,
Because I know people who have told me in other places I've worked, and they've told me like, I wanted her to be like to grow, and every time I tell her, she said, "No, I'm not up to it." And it's not that she's not up to it; she doesn't trust herself, but she has the ability to help other people. She knows the job, but if she trusted herself and wanted like to take the risk, she could go higher. And many people right here that are listening don't grow better, not because they don't have the ability, but because they don't trust themselves. And don't don't take it personal if before someone hasn't trust you or you failed, because that failing is what makes you stronger. The thing here is make a comeback and make it bigger and stronger with more intelligence.
that is correct, and it requires a good amount of effort sometimes
Yes,
because, of course,
of
as you
course.
said, you need to believe in yourself first. And
Yes,
a lot of people would think that success it's only for people who are very talented or people who have a lot of luck. But the truth is that success is about how you handle your situation, how you see that difficulty or that situation and turn it into an opportunity and a positive outcome, right? And we all may struggle at some point, yes. And I've had to say that I have struggled a lot. It's not that I can come in and sit and seems like everything's perfect and just talk about a lot of positive things about changing your mindset or leadership, because the truth is it might be difficult for a few people as well. It took me as well a lot of time. It was not from the beginning that I had to switch my mindset into, right, I'm now on the other end. How am I going to get the people that are in my team to also believe in what I believed was the vision of the company and what my boss believed? So if I didn't believe in my boss, then I wouldn't have a team that will follow me and believe in what we were doing. And that's what we constantly need to question here. So um, I mean, when you have a growing mindset or a progressive mindset, basically explore. You accept the new experiences. You learn to enjoy your challenges. I have to say, I learn to enjoy them. Uh, sometimes there are a few things that we do, let's say in the business, that in the beginning is like, right, how are we going to do this, or this is the end goal, how are we going to get there? And sometimes I will question myself, like, can I believe this is going to happen? Because if not, I will have a team that won't believe that can happen, right? And the same happens with both my bosses with me. Trust them and believe that where vision is going, it's going to work. So because you will make it work, and it requires discipline, I would say. You need to be determined, you need to be disciplined, you need to make the decision that yes, I believe in this. You will have a desire to believe in something and that it's going to work. Basically, you need to learn about the mistakes and move on, because you would do better on the next day, right?
I mean, what you say is real good because many people don't understand the power they have in their hands, and they want other people to do better. Let's say their children, let's say people they work with them, and I see managers or leaders blaming their team because they don't work well, and they don't know that it's their responsibility. Because as you said, your boss simply told you, "Show me how would you do this," and afterwards you say, "Okay, I believe in you," and you're like, What?" And then you believed in yourself because he believed in you. And something real good about being a leader is that your mindset can connect with others' mindset. And whenever you trust them and you give them like responsibility and acknowledgement of their good job, of how they are as a person, and give them a spirit of belonging that helps them to believe in themselves and believe in something and in someone that it's bigger than them.
And
And
that's basically a progressive mindset, where you're just saying,
yes,
you don't have a progressive mindset, you'll be worried that you're not going to be able to fulfill people's expectations, because you know people are watching. So
yes,
you need to start programming your mind to success. And the first step is to learn new things without the fear of making a mistake, because we don't know what's going to happen. We believe that the outcome is optimistic and positive, but we don't know
yes.
what you're going to take through your journey. So it's basically learning on having a growing or a growth mindset or a progressive mindset in here. And
I mean, for me, for example, if mistakes are part of the journey, if I make a mistake, okay, it's okay. What's that? It's not a bad. It's not like a bad time. I know what would happen sooner or later, and every time I've learned like to how to make mistakes by winning all the time. It's like a win-win, because what I say is sometimes you win and sometimes you learn. Because even though you don't get what you want, if you look what how you failed and you learn, then you'll learn and grow. And then that makes you like a growth mindset and an unstoppable mindset, which means win win, grow, grow. And it doesn't matter if you don't reach what you want, because winning or having success is not like a place you get, it's like a journey. If you make a
Yeah.
great journey and have a great mindset, that will take you to a great place.
Yeah. And you know what? We shouldn't be afraid of making mistakes
Of course.
and not judge. We can be sometimes very hard on ourselves. I have been really hard on myself a lot too, but you have to know that those mistakes are part of your learning journey and you'll do
Yes.
better tomorrow. And I mean, a good tip for me is you need to challenge yourself every day to do better. Like,
Yes.
not
Of course.
judging yourself for what someone else thinks about you, and that can be tough. I have to say that can be tough, but not judging yourself for what others think about you, um, because you might think that you're not capable or skilled to achieving your goals. And if you have your mindset set to success, you will, no matter what, achieve what you want to achieve. Like no one will stop you, and that's where it comes when you say you become unstoppable at that time, right?
If you
And
think with an infinite mindset, it's not the game today. But if you're
yeah.
still working and you're still going, they say you can't stop a man or a woman who never stops,
Mm,
because like you, it's like you want to drown the beast, but he know she it learns how to swim. I mean, it doesn't matter what happens to you. What really matters is what you do with what happens to you, and that's what makes you unstoppable. That's what makes you a leader. That's what makes you a great person, not what happens to you. Many of us have suffered, have had trouble, have had many difficulties, but don't take the pain seriously. Take the learning seriously. Take your love seriously. Take your the people that really are with you on your teams seriously. Take faith seriously, because you're not alone.
yeah, it's your people basically. You need to care for your team, within your family members. And you mentioned something that brought to my head that we need to be patient during this journey because
Yes,
you're not going to see success overnight. And a lot of us might have wanted to chuck the towel and say, I'm done, that's it, I was not successful. And you will think you're basically failing, but like you won't always get it right on the first time. You kind of test try and you implement and develop new strategies to try and make things better for you, and you keep trying and keep trying and keep trying. But that does not mean that you're failing. You're If you're
of
not
course.
reaching your deadline, you're not failing. It means that there was something down the process, there was a stepping stone for you, you could move forward. But what is it? Once you identify things, you start moving on, and don't think of yourself as you're failing, right? It's part of your journey, it's part of your learning. It is what will make the difference when you try and do it next day, because you already learned what went wrong the day before.
You
So,
know what door not to knock.
yeah.
I mean, everything that happens to you, if you take it in love, and I love this word, which is compassion. You
Yes.
have to love yourself more. And when we talk about teams, people talk about empathy, but there's something I haven't heard right now, and it's self empathy. You have not to judge you, but to love you with so much compassion that you know that you're fighting, that you want more, that you love yourself even though you're not making it. And that's what help you have like the energy and the comeback better, because the judgment, it's what hurts people as
Mm,
well, it hurts you. And if you want to have empathy with others, you have to look in yourself and be interested in you. You cannot this you cannot develop uh, how do you say, emotional intelligence, if you're not interested in knowing how you feel and what makes you feel that way, you won't love yourself if you don't take care of yourself. And you have to value yourself. Sometimes people don't are they judge themselves too much because they weren't loved or felt love when they were little, and they think their value is in what they do and what they give to others. But let me tell you something. Even though right now you're not giving something to others, and right now you're only listening, you're very important. And if I believe in love, and I believe in changing your mind, let's say Jesus was in the cross, and this guy said, "I believe in you," and he said, "I repent from doing whatever I did," and he died. And Jesus told him before he died, like, "You'll go with heaven with me." And he didn't do something else to change his trip, but changing his mind, changing his self love, and repenting from doing whatever he was doing, or repenting whatever you're doing, will change the way of your life. But you have to start with yourself. Don't
Yeah.
expect the world to be better if you can't change your internal world and make it better.
And I wanted to add a little bit about that, because a lot of times we have this internal emotions and feelings that we not always communicate, right? And
Mhm.
we're going to have a lot of negative thoughts that come to our mind sometimes for our personal life or professional life, whatever that is. Our head would say, yeah, it won't work. That's our immediate reaction. Our immediate reaction, if you don't have a progressive or a growth mindset,
Yes.
it's to say it won't work. And trust me, I'll raise my hands here, and there might be a few people laughing behind that. I do that a lot. I do that a lot. Um, but instead of saying it won't work, why don't we try saying I will try? And I will have to say that is what's kept me moving forward when I've had negative thoughts. And I said in my head, it won't work, but I'm willing to try. And when you try and you set up an objective,
Yes.
you will work towards that, right?
Yes.
And you get ambitious about it because you want to believe that what you change on that thought, it will work. So I'm laughing, I'm raising my, there's people laughing behind what I'm just saying, because I have been number one into saying, "No, I don't think it's gonna work," but hey, here we are, all of us learning as well. uh, but you've said something great, and becoming a leader, or having a growth mindset, you need to prepare to be frustrated. You need to prepare to cry. You need to prepare to be really upset. And sometimes you might be angered if you don't reach your results that fast. But you need to also take into consideration that you need to be surrounded by people that give you feedback, but your go-to people, and or for references, or to learn, or to have some lessons learned as well, or how did the other person did that as well. And I mean, I have been part of Julian's program, which you others the honor to be one of his unstoppable leaders. And I've gone through to Julian a million times, sometimes upset or things that I couldn't emotionally handle at times. And he will always say, the question is, how do you want to handle? How do you want to fix it? How can you make it better? And I was there sitting, and I was like, I'm just coming to you to ask you what you want me to do. And then he starts questioning me. And that's also a good leader. That's a good leader will question you into why or how, and how would you like to fix it, and how can you do it better, and it gets you thinking, of course. And that would have get me really upset with him at times, but I was reaching out to get an answer, no more questions. And that's what mindset is. It's like you switch your internal chip into, right, okay, what do I need to do, and what does it need to happen work, and you need to surround yourself with people that will overwhelm you with questions and that don't let you fall in the process, of course, because they believe in you and they trust you, and these people will challenge you and will challenge your mind and will challenge you emotionally as well, because
Yeah.
you're trying to get to a place where you believe sometimes that you won't make it. So you're challenging yourself on a daily basis to try and get to this side, right, and make things happen.
How do
And
you change your feelings? How do you change the idea of not believing in you making something? It's by changing your focus. How do you
yeah,
change your focus? By changing the question. Instead of saying I won't do it, instead of asking how might it fail, ask how can it work? Who can help me? What do I need? And if you think about the opportunity, your mind is like a goal, and it always answers whatever you ask. If you feel fat and you look in the mirror and say, "Damn, why am I so fat?" Your mind says, "Because you're a pig."
because
But
I
if you
eat too
say,
much
"How can I
dessert.
get slimmer? What can I do better today to look healthier, to love myself more?" And every time, everything I work on my mind and help my people to do is give them the ability to believe and to be responsible and then take action, because you can't change anything if you don't want to believe, because humans hate to lose time, money, and effort. And if you
Yeah,
don't believe, you won't take action. You won't be doing anything because you'll think you're losing. But whenever you start believing, you're okay. Okay, let's take more time. Okay, let's take more effort. And you start there, because what I tell you, there's more in your life than what you can believe. But you have to believe in yourself, because not your wife believing in you, not your parents believe in you, not your boss believe in you will make things happen. It's you that make things happen. It's like the other day I invited you here. You said, "But why you want to do a live in English?" And I say, "Yeah, I mean, it's like the beginning of something. I'm
yeah,
going to do it every day, every week, every day Thursday, from 8:30, 1 hour." And he said, "Okay, but when you do it, what happens if I start this? This is something I really wanted to do like a long time ago. What happens if I start doing it in a year from now? I'll be losing 1 year of working or helping other people. Why not just start right now? This may be little. This may reach one or two or three people. I may be like fighting to think the words I'm doing it, but from a year from now, from a month from now, I'll be killing it. Not because it was easy, but because I've worked it, because I want it, because I know my life is to serve others. And I know that doing the effort will help others do their effort to do whatever they want.
yeah,
Whenever it's too hard, whenever it's too difficult, it's very hurting to believe. But whenever you see others fighting the fight, fighting whatever's different or difficult for them, they'll see, damn, okay, if he can do it, I can do it.
yeah. And you may have plenty of ideas to generate change,
Mhm.
um, but if the same people you team up with and you work with and you walk with do not believe in your ideas, then you really will start to think that you cannot generate transformation. And one of the purposes that you've, Julian, have is to generate transformation in people, to transform lives as well. And what you've said is, it's amazing, because people need to believe in you, and these are the keys: leader, trust or believe in having courage, being honest, have a lot of integrity or humility. I mean, when you have humility, you accept that if your team is doing better than you, it's job done. You're
Yes,
gratifying because of that, and you become a good listener. You serve others. I have to serve my team.
yes,
When I come to the office, I joke about, or in the office, I joke about a lot that my team is like the kids when my sons, when they're like, mommy this and mommy that and mommy. I'm like, I get in the office, I'm like, Gina. And I love it because I would never say you're interrupting me unless unless I'm really focused coming in coming into my office because they would know I'm busy. But other than that, I have a really open door policy. People can jump in at any time in the office, and that's part of serving them, right? You start caring about people, you care about what goes on in their lives, in with their families, and you have a clear vision of who do you want them to be and how do you want to be, so they start following you and want to be better than you are or that you are going to be. So as you really really good, if a while ago you talked about empathy. So being a good leader is you need to have empathy. You feeling for others. Like, there are a lot of, I would say, direct leaders. So I don't being a direct leader does not make you a leader, because you might be honest, but if you don't have empathy, it's just honesty without empathy. It's just being cruel. You're a cruel person, basically.
yes, and that hurts people.
Yeah,
And whenever you feel hurt, you'll run away, and instead of connecting, you'll disconnect. And
yeah,
then people say, why do he do what I say? Because you're hurting him. I mean, like you're stepping on his toe, and he's telling, "Don't step to my toe," and you don't see the signs because you do not care. And I don't want to say like in a cruel way, because many of us leaders, and this is something I just thought about in another way, like 2 weeks ago, and it's people often say about love this: when you love, then you will. But there are many different ways of love. And when you try to define love in one way, you kill all the others. There are people that love you but hurt you. What that means is not they don't love you. What that means is that they are hurting. What I want to tell you something is, if there's someone hurting you, he is hurting inside. Maybe what you have to be is empathic with him if you can help him and tell him so he doesn't do it anymore or get away. Or by the other hand, if you're the one and you know whatever whenever you say something, if people don't like what you say, it's not that you have to be yourself and say things directly, because what you're thinking in a how do you say egoista, I forgot,
naive,
egoista,
naive.
in a not naive, uh selfish way. You're thinking
Yeah,
in a selfish way, and your idea is say whatever you want to say, not thinking on the others. And whenever you're a leader, you have to think that whatever you communicate always um, gets how this gets does something in the other person,
impacts them.
impacts them. And the idea is not saying what you think is true, but say it in a way that impacts the other people different, to help them to do the change if they're doing bad, or help them to be more loving, or help them to grow, because whatever you want is not hurting them. So why say it the way you think about it and not think of the others to help them? That's what leaders do. They think of their people. I mean,
Yeah.
they don't work for you. You
You
work for
speak
them.
their language, not your language.
Yes, because you want them to understand. It's like with kids. Some parents talk to their kids, 4 or 5 year olds, like they were grown ups. Say, damn, you don't understand. No, man. If you want to talk to that kid, sit on the floor, get in your knees, talk to him, look at his face, hug him, tell him you love him, and tell him, man, this is not good for you. And then he'll know you care. And when he knows you care, then he'll listen. And that's the same with people. Show them you
Yeah.
care.
Yeah. And in this process, it's all about empathy, because
Yes.
you're not on you change your mindset, and that's your own personal decision.
Hmm.
But whoever walks with you, you're not responsible just for yourself anymore. You're
Yes.
responsible for whoever's walking together with you, whoever starts believing in you.
Hmm.
But these processes as well, not everyone's gonna like you, I have to say. um, and I'll share some personal emotions here. There was a time where um, and this might sound bad, so I really need to think about how do I want to say it. I felt that I had a really small number of people within my team that had envy, or they were jealous about something, and I was completely depressed. I was destroyed about it, because the way I think of my team is I think of them as my extended family. And we always call ourselves, and we pride
Yes.
ourselves to call our family, our study family, we call it, right? Um, but I was destroyed because I saw them as my family, and it's the people I share half my life with. And but I had to understand that what causes sometimes jealousy or envy is not it's not the money you've got, it's not how you look, it's not what car you've got or the clothes you wear. It's your essence, it's your energy, it's your passion as well, and what you do good that the other person is probably not doing at its best at that time, but wants to achieve at some
Yeah. Wishing.
point, right? And it's about your success with your family, the talents, the values that you have, because not everyone is going to share the same values that you have personally, right?
Of course.
um, it's those things that make you shine bright, and that's nothing that someone can just take away from you.
Yes.
And what kills anyone's who want to have it is something that no one else can copy from you. That's something that you need to develop yourself. So I had to
In
come up
their
to
own way.
terms with myself, because I was getting into a really dark hole at some point.
Yes.
And it took me down for a while, but then when I start thinking, all right, this is not who about what I have, but this is more about who I am, and I really want to be a leader has that leads by example, that walks eyes with a smile. And don't get me wrong, I do get grumpy at times, but I try to be there for everyone. And just recently, there one of one of my team members, she was chatting about, well, we have these plans in the office, you think you can contribute with this, or do you have these particular things at your home that you can share in the office? And I was like, yeah, really cool to do this. And Joe, it's part of the support, it's part of the, you get excited for what others want to do and for what your team
Yes.
wants to do, and it's not just I'm really happy of where I'm currently sitting with my team, because I've set my mindset into, I want them to be better than me. So I need to raise the bar really high,
Yes.
because at some point they will have as well their own businesses. I will want to see them succeed as well and be a lot better than me. And when they turn back time, they remember this some she did this at some point, and I want to replicate that and be better than that. So I'm really
That's the
happy where I
legacy.
am. Yeah. Yeah.
Your
And I
legacy
love
is
my
to
team.
help
I'm the
others.
oldest one in there, but I love my team to pieces.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, something very important it, to have in your mindset, to have like in your leadership, has to be with accountability.
Mm,
People follow you because you have something they want and because they see you accountable. Because if you look inside in your instincts, people they say that 90% of the time act by instinct and the instinct of like or growing or not dying, let's say it that way. If they don't see they can trust you because you say one thing and you don't do it, or because you change your mind all the time, or
mhm.
because you don't believe in yourself, they won't trust you and they won't follow you. And so to build accountability is very important, to be true to yourself. And this is something I want to talk to you very, I mean, with that's very important. But be true to yourself has two sides. Like I was telling a little bit before. Don't be true to yourself, like people say, like in a bad way. I was born like this and I will die like this. And you know that being true in that moment will hurt your life and not take you in a growing path. Because we could say we have like the light or the shadow. And sometimes we're walking in the shadow because we've had a hard life and we've been hurting. And the idea is be true to yourself, but be true to the person you love to be. Like whenever I think whatever happens to you, if you think of yourself in love, you can be like a superhero of yourself. You can become your own superhero. But if you look at whatever happens to you by blaming, by finding guilt in others, by not accepting your responsibility, you
Yeah,
can become
judging
your
yourself.
own you can become your own villain. Because how many people you see there that they're fighting a fight they don't have to fight, but the only person who took them there it's themselves, and they don't want to change, so their life won't change.
Yeah.
And
It
that's very
has to come
important.
within. It's your decision.
I mean, what are you using? What are you loving like the problem and changing it because of the love, or are you just like fighting the beast and making it, or feeding the beast and making it bigger? Because whenever you hate, whenever you to blame, that helps that hurts you more, and that makes the problem bigger. And to be true to yourself, you have to start like to love yourself, to say acknowledge you, acknowledge your values, you're interested, see yourself in the mirror and think about you in good terms, and start little by little, start changing, start forgiving whatever. Because whenever you hate someone else, that's like in the mirror. But because whatever you hate others, in the same way you're hating others, you're hating yourself because you gave them permission to do it. And that hurts a lot. That's
Yes.
why you have to change. And that what forgiving, it's like a love, it's doing it for love, but for self love more than for loving others.
Yes, yes, and I truly believe, because I've been through this. If I'm honest, like there was a time I was really depressed. I would go to work and show a smile to everyone, and on the inside I was crying. I would go back home and cry and had such a difficult time, and I was drowning. And
Hmm.
I was very blessed to have people around me who would help me out and say, Gina, you know what, it's most of it's on your head. I mean, you
Yes.
kill those demons. And it took me a while. I have to say, it took me a while to switch back into trying to be happy. You know, like you know me for a few years now, and I'm this cheerful and joyful and bright person, and always loca and screaming and so on. And all of a sudden, I was given a smile. I was being nice to everyone, but I would turn back home and cry in my car when I was driving and drown on my own over weekends. And you need to have people to support you, be there for you, and be your own cheerleader as well at some point, right?
Yes,
And it's so part of it. So and I guess the reason we're sharing this at this time, it's because being a leader or changing your mindset is not something that you do overnight.
of course not.
It's a journey, and the journey, it's never easy. Which path you want to take, if you want to go to the I want to say small route and it's not small path, or you want to go through a broadened path. And it's about the why. Why do I choose to take this path
Start with
that is the
why.
most difficult one, and not chuck the towel and just leave? So I'm really happy that we've had this conversation, because I mean, I've got to share some of my personal experience on how I started thinking of leaders with a napkin. And there was someone, my boss, who 6 years ago trusted me something that has become big and is still becoming bigger. So the bigger, the more responsibility as well. And I love what I do. I love both our teams in the UK. We have our main office and our operations and in the UK, and we have our team in Ecuador here. So um, on a worldwide basis. I could be working in our office in the UK. I could be working in our office in Ecuador. I could be traveling and visiting a university. So I I am out. I am seeing other leaders. I'm seeing other teams as well, and you need to accept and understand how they work as well, and try to see what they're doing good and implement, and what we're not doing good, what can we do to change. And so it's just a learning curve all the time.
Yes. Ahora, just saying,
English,
English, please. No bad words. Language, please.
language, please.
Okay. Um, Starting with what you're saying, there are many big companies and many big dreams started in a napkin. Right now that you were saying, I was investigating, and there was like the Voyager, which is the first airplane that completed a non-stop around world without flight without refueling, was drawn in a napkin. The first fire hose was drawn in a napkin. The Pixar characters from were drawn from Toy Story and
Yeah.
from Wall-E and Monsters Inc. and Finding Nemo and Bugs Life. They were all started in a napkin. The Southwestern Airlines, Harry Potter started in a napkin, and in that way, great things start little. Don't don't expect like a great thing to happen in your life to start. You can start in a napkin. I mean, if you see love, love isn't like you feel it like a fireworks when you see that person or when you have like the first kiss. I know it seems great or many great things, but if you see it like in a simple way, you touch her hand or his hand, and it's like, damn, it's just a little touch. When you want to dream or when you see like someone you admire, it seems like a great thing. No, it's just you saw something. And if you see, great dreams start when you're a kid. Even the
Oh,
greatest
don't
kid of
ask
all.
me. Don't ask me, because I would say I wanted to be Miss Ecuador when I was a kid.
And I know, but you're Miss Ecuador in other things because you're the queen of your company and you help others with your beauty, with
Oh,
not
that's nice of
not
you. Thank
only
you.
your external beauty, but your heart beauty, your mind beauty. You love beauty, and you really are that. You have to only extend and look at it in another way. And if you see people right now, every great thing started as a dream, and a dream start little. You see, the greatest king, the greatest president, even Jesus was born a man. So there's not a, such a great dream that cannot come true if you grow it up and you believe in yourself and you prepare yourself. You have to believe. You have to start working in your mindset, working on your faith. Feel there's five loves of a leader. First is the love to God, knowing that He's real and having Him in your heart will make you stronger, more accountability, and makes will help you have more trust in the process. You have to have a purpose. Like start with why.
Yeah. And
Why were
vision.
you born? Why were you born? Why you're here? Because when things get hard, if you just want to get money, you'll say, "Damn, this is not the way." But whenever you start with something bigger than yourself, you keep on because you know that the bad times it's what makes you stronger. You don't get stronger by lying in your bed. You get stronger in your body in your gym. And difficulties are the gym of life, the gym of your heart, and the gym of your soul. And then you have to love yourself because if you don't love yourself, you won't work because you won't feel that getting better it's not for you and you don't deserve it. And then you'll go back and just believe it's not worthy. Not because the dream's not worthy, it's because you're not worthy.
Yeah.
After that, you have to believe and love like what you have to give. When I wrote my book, the best thing that happened to me is that my teacher, my coach told me, you don't have to like invent or create something great. You just have to be yourself and tell your story because your story is in yourself. And everybody here has a story, has something to tell the world. And whenever you think you're important, not more important than others, but so important and so loving that you can overcome whatever you're having to be able to get on top of the chair, to put the hands down and say, come up here because the view is better. I'll help you. And the last, you have to love people so much that you'll be willing to pay the price to do whatever you don't want because you know that whenever you do it, by helping you, you're helping other people
Yeah.
because that's what leaders are. We're here to serve and to help others.
That's a core value. Core
Yes,
value, serving. Serving.
yes,
And last
that,
but not least, good things
yes.
start with a napkin.
Of course.
Next time someone hands me a napkin, I'm gonna think it twice.
Damn, where are we starting here?
Yeah, yeah. It's been a journey, but I've loved it. I love every day. I love the challenges as well, and with the pandemic as well, there has been a lot of changes, not only in our office but everywhere, and on your personal life, on your professional life, in your office, at in the whole world. So I believe everyone had to start pivoting in their activities and the way they think, and you've changed your mindset basically.
Of course. Thank you very much for being here. For me, for real. Every time I see you, it's a great pleasure. You're a great inspiration because you're a fighter. You're like a fighter and a queen at the same time. For real, for real. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. I love being part of your unstoppable leaders, Julian. And thank you very much. You're always giving great advice to people. You're always make me question every single decision that I try to make. And that's great. And you're a great leader to follow as well. You're very knowledgeable. You've got always, as I always say this, you've got the right words at the right time. And that's something That is really. Thank you very much. Don't ask me next time to do it in Portuguese or Italian because that
No,
might be a bit tricky. I can, but it might be a bit tricky. But really happy
uh,
that we've done this in English. I remember telling you, I was like, "You sure you want to do this in English?" And
yes,
he's like, "Ooh, okay, all right, whatever, let's do it." And here we are, like a few days later. So I'm really happy that we had this chance.
yeah. To everyone here, if you want something, just start doing it. I mean, I had like this feeling. This is weird. I started doing like a live one day with a friend, and then like everybody started talking in English. I don't know. There were like 20 people talking in English. I'm like, what happened here? This is not common. And that right second, I say, what happened if I do it in English? And whenever you see something weird in your life, and you get like you question you, and you get like how do you say interest in that, make believe like that can be a door for you. That's like an opportunity to make things happen. And something I have to tell you, you're the first one who know to know. Right now, when I finish here, I'm gonna post it. But tomorrow, you have to be there. We have like a prom, like a Unstoppable Leaders prom, and you're
Yeah.
invited as like the first a group of
Can I do
Unstoppable
the
Leaders.
graduation speech? I'll do the graduation speech. I'll
Yes,
offer as the tribute.
yes. Like I told you, you're the first one to know because
Yeah.
right now, I just finished here and I'm gonna post it and send it to the group.
Awesome.
So
I really look forward to that. And thanks so much, Julian. I really enjoy this time.
thank you very much. Thank you for everyone here. Like I told you, for me, I enjoy it, but it was hard. Not understanding, but talking because I'm not used to it. But
You've
as
done
I know,
amazing. You've done amazing.
as I like thank you. Like I tell you, have the good fight. Fight with all you have for whatever you want. Love you very much. Bendiciones. Blessings.
Ciao.
Good night.
Gracias.